been giving you guys. My name is Habiba Zaman. I am a licensed mental health therapist, soon to be Dr. Zaman.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Which is why you guys haven't been getting a lot of these from me, because life is kicking me in the tush. 1,000%. So I have Kaylin here. She's also a licensed therapist, and one of the fun things that, or I don't know, maybe I think it's fun.
Yeah.
So I'll explain a little bit about what I do with what I've been giving to you guys who've been following and watching and whatever. And part of my email list, thank you for your loyalty and the time you've spent tolerating my nonsense. I call it Midnight Musings because, you know, middle of the night, I'm like, hey, you know what?
I have this idea.
And here's this, right? So, insomnia, hello friend. And I thought, because I haven't really been doing a lot of these, mainly because life is insane, but also because I'm not a big fan of talking to nothing. And I've been staring at my computer screen or staring at my cell phone while I'm making these videos, trying to give you guys some tidbit that I think may or may not help you conceptualize something a little bit better, make life a little bit easier, whatever you want to call it. And this morning, specifically, I called Kaylin because I was like, hey, what do you think about doing this together? Because I hate talking to an empty screen. I'd rather talk to this beautiful lady right here. So, welcome, long-winded introduction, Habiba Zaman, Kaylin Maloney.
Nice to meet you guys. Yay to be here with this fantastic person. Smart as I don't know what. She's definitely 100% like just admired.
Thank you.
Just all things. We're the same people, so this will be exciting.
Yes. So, same energy, same rawness, same vulnerability. We are in December. Not sure who's going to be seeing this or whatever. Is that supposed to be happening?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No. I think it's supposed to be on. It should be recording though.
It is
though.
still at, wow, look at that. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
So, again,
feel like that must
I
be
guess
a
that's
feature.
going to be something that's happening. We're actually going to keep that. We're going to keep that in the video.
Oh,
Because
no.
I'm not redoing that whole introduction. So,
We might cut it up.
again, those of you who know me, we all know technology and I are not friends, so this is not surprising. It's going to be embarrassing
No,
as
it's
all
great.
get out when my face, I'm like, what is happening over here? But hopefully you get a quick laugh out of it. Laugh at me, it's all good. Because that is something that I own about myself. Technology and I are just not friends. Anyways, so I promise we're not drunk or high this
No,
morning.
no.
Haven't even had my
We're off of each other's energy right now.
yes.
It's going good.
Yes. So again, this is December for whenever you guys are watching this, and part of the inspiration for today's topic is because at the end of the year, I find myself reflecting a lot of good things, a lot of not so great things, and kind of feeling like maybe there could have been more, maybe there could have been something else. I could have had more things that I've done. I could have expanded more. I could have loved more. I could have explored myself more. I could have, you name it, right? All of the self-criticism's always there. And so one of the things I find that we're lacking sometimes at the end of the year is hope. Life can get very, very daunting, and challenges kind of like smack you upside the face. And it's hard to hold on to that semblance of power and control that we need. It's a psychological need, it's a primary need. We all have this need of not controlling one another or controlling anything. It's just controlling the course and direction of our life and where we're wanting to be and what we want our life to look like.
Yeah.
There it goes again.
I feel like there has to be a setting to that, but
It's okay. It's okay. We're going to learn together. We're going to grow with this new computer thing
technology
together.
way, yeah.
Yes, and one of the things that I know a lot of people use is the magic wand
Yes.
theorem or technique, where, you know, if you had a magic wand and we can eliminate all kinds of things in the blink of an eye, or a genie comes and grants you 3 wishes, how would that make life better? So I'm going to let you talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think a lot of times what we're looking for with respect to that loss of hope is inspiration. We're looking as well for just some type of resolution, some type of closure. And so we're asking, well, what type of magic wand can I have where it can alleviate these 2 or 3 things. I think the deeper question is, what feeling are you trying to eliminate? Because a lot of times when we're actively trying to kind of get rid of a certain problem or a certain situation, there are a lot of feelings that are around that problem or situation. Sometimes it's a person, sometimes it's a family, and it can be really anything, but you want to kind of always be able to look at what are the deeper feelings there. What is it about this situation that I want to relieve or be relieved from so badly? So having this wand or having this genie be there to eliminate it will do what for my life? So if I'm having a stressful day at work, or I just really, really hate my job, I've given it a whole year, it still sucks, I'm ready to go. So I have this magic wand to say, I want to have this type of job. Well, having that type of job is going to do what? Is it going to change your finances? Is it going to change your connection with your coworkers? Is it going to be able to allow you to have more camaraderie? What are you really looking for this change? When you're actively trying to change and when you're actively looking for change, it's important to really think about what is that change. Do you have control over that change? To your point too of looking for control in that area of life, in our course of life, we also want to be able to think about what do I have control over? Yes, you have control over yourself, all the things, but in what way? Yeah, I can't change my boss. I can't necessarily go to HR and demand more money, so it's like, well, what am I changing? What am I looking for? So I think with that magic wand, we're really trying to change certain feelings that we're having.
Right. So the job thing, I think, is a perfect example. My partner and I were talking about this the other day, where, I asked the same thing, like, okay, fine, you were granted 3 wishes, what would you say? And his response was, I'd be in the yacht off the coast, Amalfi Coast in Italy. And I was just like, okay. And then what?
Yeah.
Children, family, parents, significant other, and he was just like, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, you would be there, obviously. And then it wouldn't be it wouldn't be permanent. It would just be, I was like, so the need for escape is right now, because that's the feeling, right?
Yes.
And I was like, okay, so escaping for what? Because let's say I throw you on a yacht somewhere.
Yes.
Then what?
Yeah.
Right? Like, what are the stressors that you're trying to alleviate?
Yeah.
And he was like, well, because then I get a break. And I was like, right, break from what? Right? So being able to identify not just the surface level thing of what it is, right? Because I think that's the catch of it. That's my biggest issue with this question.
Yeah.
Because, or this technique, for example, I went on a complete rant about it, total psycho rant about it. And the reason is, let's say, those examples, right? He was like, well, because I don't want to go to work, right? I don't want to have to go to this job or whatever. Why?
Right.
Okay. Are you wanting to quit your job altogether? Well, no, because that's instability, that's uncertainty, that's scary.
Yeah.
We don't want to quit the job.
Right.
The job is fine. So what is it? And then, with a little probing and
little encouragement.
Encouragement is a not much nicer word than what I usually end up doing. Clients and all, so sorry about that. I'm a very confrontational therapist when it comes to this. So I was like, okay, what about the job? And he was like, it's for my bosses to be more encouraging, or the numbers to just be down to 0 and just stay at 0, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Can you just stay at 0 for 2 weeks or a month? And I was like, okay, what else? Give me one more. And then he was like, to get recognition and, like actual acknowledgement of the work that I am doing.
Yeah.
How many of us can say the same thing about any job?
Yes.
Except for, private practice, because we have no one else
Yes.
to give us the encouragement, which is why I make sure to give it to you and everybody else in this office. But, everyone has this need for, because it falls under the same Maslow's hierarchy of needs, just like power and control does. It's the love and belonging. Like, we all have a need to belong to something and get that recognition and get that affection or love or encouragement, whatever. However, again, in theory, that seems like that's the answer, period. But it's not.
It's really not.
Because he can't control these things.
No.
He can't control the boss being more encouraging. He can't control the numbers being at 0, because he's not the ones applying. He can't do anything with these numbers. He can influence only what he does. And, or even recognition, right? There's nothing he can do for these things, but he's craving all of those things. So my issue with this magic wand, genie, miracle question is I think it sets us up with false hope. The reason being, right, unless you've done years of therapy and you understand the difference between primary, secondary, tertiary methods of perception, if you don't have that, you ask me this question, and let's say you go ahead and ask me this question.
What is it about your job that you are not liking?
Right, and I can say that, well, I will always say more than just primary, secondary, or tertiary. But if I were to say, with my job, the thing that's most, difficult for me is, for example, I just did an evaluation. I did a hardship evaluation, and earlier in the day it was a human trafficking evaluation. And it's this feeling that I have of like, I wish I could make it better for you.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
So if someone asks me this question and I don't understand all of the above about my functioning and why I do what I do, why I say what I say, why I behave the way I do, why I believe what I do, if I haven't figured those things out through therapy, because that's what we do.
Yes.
If you haven't figured that out, somebody asks you this question, my answer is going to be something completely out of my control or some form of escapism.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be on a yacht somewhere.
Yes.
Right? And in theory, it sounds like that's a good thing that you're working towards, but you're not. Because what am I going to do about it?
Right, because I already can't control it. So I'm thinking, well, if I do this, then I will automatically get this in return or as a result. But that's not always guaranteed, especially in those spaces that you really cannot control your job.
Exactly. Or simple encouragement from my bosses.
Yeah.
A lot of people will then feel compelled to, well, if I work harder, then they'll recognize it.
Yes.
If I do more, they'll recognize it. If I take things off of their plate, then they're, and then you're constantly chasing,
it's kind of
fulfilling,
shadow-like.
Right, but it's also fulfilling your sense of self-worth that you're not feeling for yourself, but you're trying to get filled from someone else, and then you chase it.
Yeah.
And at what point does it stop?
Yeah, it won't. Like you said, until you really reach that realization of like, what am I really trying to gain here? So to the example of the boss, if I'm looking for recognition, I'm looking for you to tell me that what I'm doing is right. I'm looking for a sense of praise. I'm looking for a positive reinforcement. So it's not to say that wanting those things are absolutely horrible, but
Everyone
is to
needs
say that like, it's not something that you have to depend upon because you're not going to always get it. So kind of having that understanding within yourself, that confidence within yourself to know that what you're doing is right, it's appropriate, and you're doing your best at it, even though it's not perfect, because there is no perfection. There is a difference with perfection and then just striving for excellence. Like you're trying to do better and you're doing your best, and just let that be what it is. So the magic wand is almost a sense of perfectionism, which is why it is going to lead to that space of like, oh well, this is not really realistic because it's not going
and it's
to
not
do that
working.
Right.
Right? It gives that sense of hope, right? Like, okay, I know what I need to do. I know what I can do to make it better. But then over time, when you start seeing that it's not getting better, well then who's to blame, right? Then we go into that self-deprecating conversation with ourselves. Well, maybe I just don't deserve it because I've done this now.
Right.
I've worked harder now. I've given so much love. And this thing, I mean, we use work as an example, but you can see this in your relationships. You can see this in a project even where, you're consistently going after something and it's not being met. So you work harder to try to get it and it's still not met because it wasn't in your control to begin with.
Right.
So all of that, rant number 2 is to bring all of your conversations, your internal dialogues, the conversations you have with other people, especially in December.
Yes.
Because everyone's like, ooh, new year, new me.
Resolutions, we're trying to make these changes.
Which is great. Necessary, fun, and could be great, except if it's misguided.
Yeah.
And a lot of time that hope we have for the new year or finishing off the old year is all the things that we technically cannot control.
We're kind of looking at the new year as that magic wand.
Yes!
It's like just, okay, I'm going to step into this and it's going to be completely different, but like how? Also, is it realistic?
Right. And the how can only be what can I individually, solely influence and impact?
Yeah.
What change do I directly, we're not even talking indirectly, directly impact? And if it's not something that you can directly impact to make a change that you're looking for, I will really, really encourage you to just be like, you know what, maybe that will not work.
Yeah.
Course correct, regather your energies and efforts, be like, okay, well, I chased this for a little bit. I'm learning that that's not the path to follow. So let me take a few steps back and then course correct and redirect, right? None of this is failure. This is how we learn. This is how we grow. None of it is I was telling my girlfriend the other day, you know, I don't look at things not going my way as I failed. I don't look at it, I mean, the inside, hello, very loud, failure, right? The internal dialogue is very loud when it comes to imposter syndrome and failure. However, the dialogue I'm working on, right, and what I actively, consciously say to myself is that it's like a comma in a sentence, right? It's a pause. It's a pause for me to figure it out. It's not a period at the end of the sentence.
It's not over.
It's not over. So that's what I would like for you guys to think about. Think about when you're going into the new year, or a new birthday year, or a new beginning of a job, or the new beginning of a new relationship, or the ending of all of these things. When you're reevaluating life, I want you to be very mindful of what kind of magic wand are you really hoping for? And are you setting yourself up, right? If it's not within your realm of control, like I said, everyone wants money.
Yes.
Because yes, money does buy happiness.
It definitely does. I am always on a high when I get my cash.
Right.
No lie.
Money does buy happiness. Does it buy everything else that also fuels happiness? No. But does it get rid of bills and stressors and pain and uncertainty? Yes, a lot of times it does. So I don't ever want to give the illusion of like, no, you know, money can't solve your problems. It will solve a lot of our problems.
Definitely will solve a lot of problems.
However,
but it's not the end all be all.
It's not the end all
It's
be
not
all.
your magic wand.
Right. Because even that runs out at some point. And then what?
Yeah.
Right? Just like being on a yacht.
Yeah.
Okay, how long are you going to be living on this yacht? And then at what point do you come back to your teenage children?
Right. And then get back to life, go back to the grocery
work
store,
and career
do these
and
things.
family and whatever other stressors that we have that is part of the messy thing we call life.
Yeah.
Right?
It's our day to day.
Yes. So, good luck with that, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.